Eccoci, buon pomeriggio a tutti, buon pomeriggio a tutte, benvenuti e benvenute in questo nuovo appuntamento del ciclo Insegnare inglese, pensato proprio per voi docenti della scuola secondaria di primo grado. Come vedete dal titolo di oggi, il webinar si chiama proprio Insegnare con This Is Me, edizione in cui i nostri ILT, Roy Bennett e Carl Matthew, che vi presento subito, vi appunto narreranno insomma quali sono le novità della nuova edizione del corso This Is Me. Prima di entrare nel vivo però dell'appuntamento, io vi rubo solamente qualche minuto per darvi le solite indicazioni tecniche, quindi vi raccomandiamo come sempre, se potete, di trovare uno spazio tranquillo e informare chi avete vicino che sarete impegnati o impegnate in questa chiacchierata che durerà all'incirca un'ora. Vi invitiamo anche a tenere a portata di mano tutto ciò che pensate possa servirvi nel tempo che passeremo insieme per evitare di allontanarvi dal dispositivo con il quale siete connessi oggi, ma vi anticipo già che avrete poi a vostra disposizione sia le slide dell'incontro, ma anche proprio il registrato del webinar. La terza raccomandazione invece riguarda le tecnologie, per cui vi invitiamo come sempre ad utilizzare delle cuffie, delle auricolari che sicuramente migliorano la qualità audio dell'incontro e magari anche ad effettuare una piccola verifica della vostra connessione, insomma, affinché l'intera banda sia interamente dedicata al nostro incontro, quindi magari potete spegnere tutte le applicazioni che in questo momento non state utilizzando e interrompere tutti i download in corso. Infine, l'ultima raccomandazione, più un invito più che altro, è quello di partecipare, quindi se avete domande, dubbi, volete insomma che avete da porre ai nostri relatori di oggi, io vi invito a farle nel box domande e risposte che si trova in basso nell'interfaccia Zoom ed è contrassegnato dall'icona di un punto di domanda all'interno di un fumetto. Dedicheremo proprio infatti l'ultimo momento del nostro incontro a leggere e a rispondere alle vostre domande. Quindi adesso io ve li presento di nuovo, anche se l'ho già fatto prima. Con noi ci sono Roy Bennett e Carl Matthews, che sono i nostri ELT consultant. Benvenuti.
Buonasera a tutti.
Buonasera.
Benissimo, allora io vi anticipo che abbiamo registrato l'incontro di oggi perché i nostri ILT, ovviamente questo per loro è un periodo di propaganda per cui sono in giro per le scuole, per cui per garantirvi la miglior qualità possibile di questo incontro abbiamo deciso di registrarlo, ma comunque saranno poi con noi durante lo spazio domande, per cui io interrompo la mia condivisione e chiedo alla regia di mandare il video. Eccolo qui che arriva, perfetto, buon lavoro, a dopo.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Roy Bennett, and today we will be talking about the book This Is Me, our new edition, which is the Edizione IN for the Indicazione Nazionale. And in this session, I will be focusing on the structure of the book, all of the materials that are included within the book, but also how the book corresponds to the suggestions that you will find in the new Indicazione Nazionale. So, in particular, we'll be looking at these things. How can we help our students learn idiomatic language and expressions? How can we help them to develop their critical thinking skills as well? We'll provide them with strategies, learning strategies for learning speaking, for learning writing, all of the skills. We'll also introduce elements of personalization into the activities so the activities become relevant to the students' individual needs. There'll be opportunities in the book for reflection so that students can reflect on the learning process. We'll be looking at culture from the angle of multiculturalism as well. So how different cultures combine, how they contrast and compare. And we'll also be looking at a variety of activities that touch on different school subjects. Okay, so interdisciplinary projects and activities. Now, every time that you come across one of these particular activities in This Is Me, you will find this tick signal, which shows you that this is an activity type that is specifically recommended by the Indicazioni Nazionali. Right, so we'll begin now with an overview of a unit from volume 1 of This Is Me in. So this is unit 6, and every unit begins with a presentation page, which is designed specifically to help students activate their prior knowledge of the topic. This page is also designed to make students curious about the topic, to get them engaged, to get them enthusiastic, we hope. So we use a few different techniques to do this. As you can see, the page has a lot of different activities, and we look at a few of them in a little bit more detail. So first of all, each of these presentation pages starts with an idiom or a proverb. And in each case, the proverb is directly related to the topic of the unit. So this can be a fun way to introduce the topic to the students. Every presentation page also has a brainstorming activity whereby students can discover the language that they already know about the topic. This can be very, very motivating if they realize that they're not learning about a topic from scratch. They already know something, so they're in a good place to start learning. The presentation pages also contain not one, but two videos. The first video is essentially a generic video on the topic, which has been specifically prepared for this course. And there is also a second video, which I've highlighted on the screen now, where we meet our tutors. Now, the tutors are two teenagers called Jake and Amy. Jake and Amy are probably slightly older than your students, and they accompany us throughout the book. They comment on the videos and on the activities, making them more relevant to the students' actual lives. I'll expand upon that as I move through the presentation to make things more clear. So moving on from the presentation page, we then move on to a video dialogue, a storyline, a very engaging story, where we meet four teenage students, and we accompany them on their various adventures. So you can see on this page, again, there are various things to look at. In the photograph, there are speech bubbles, which basically highlight the language focus of the unit, which in this case is, do you? Yes, I do. Do you like? No, I don't, etc., etc. There is also a section that focuses on everyday language, the language that you are likely to hear in an English-speaking town or city. And there's also, as we can see in the bottom of the page, a very clear focus on critical thinking. And this is where we meet our tutors, Jake and Amy, once again. So how does this work? Well, first of all, we get our students to watch the video, to practice the dialogue, and then Jake and Amy appear with a second video in which they encourage our students to think about the situation, to look at the situation from different points of view, so that the students have the opportunity to form their own opinions on the situation. So who is right? Is Dan right? Is Rosie right? And they can make their own decision about the situation in the video. So this is a very soft approach to critical thinking. Okay, so they offer different perspectives. So after the dialogue page, we then move on to vocabulary. It's a very rich vocabulary spread, but there's not just vocabulary on this page, as you can see. There are lots of graded exercises, but we also have various boxes and activities that are very interesting, and we hopefully will engage our students. We have our culture-focused boxes, which appear with curious facts about the United Kingdom in this case. We also have these little boxes which deal with the actual use of words and the use of language. So in this example, we have go shopping versus do the shopping, and we aim to explain these key differences. Here's another example of a word fun activity, which are very quick activities that we can get our students to do once they've learned a little bit of the vocabulary in the unit. So we are approaching these exercises and the topic from a lot of different angles and keeping our students engaged with a variety of different activities. At the back of the book as well, you'll also find a word bank, a very rich word bank, which includes a lot of different exercises. You can see there are maps. And again, we can see an example of a culture focus on this page. There's a double page word bank for every unit, so you will have no shortage of vocabulary to work on with your students. This is also mirrored in the workbook as well. As you can see, again, we have a lot of exercises, which again are graded according to difficulty. And it gives us an opportunity to recycle a lot of the language that we've learned in the unit, because obviously giving our students the opportunity to use language in different contexts, in different situations, this will help them in memorizing and understanding the vocabulary. So moving on from the vocabulary, we get to the all-important grammar pages. You will find that in each unit, there are 3 pages of grammar. You can see we have very clear grammar explanations and a variety of different graded exercises. But on this page, we also have some activity types which respond to the indicazione nazionali. You can see in the description, the grammar description on the left, that we have a reflect box, getting the students to reflect on, in this case, the third person singular, getting them to think a little bit about the structure and not just learn it parrot fashion. There's also a compare box as well, where we ask students to compare particular language structures in English and in Italian, their own language, to help develop their understanding of that particular language point. So we have lots of opportunities to reflect and compare on the language that we're learning. On the third page of grammar, you will also find this sum it up section, so summative exercises for every single unit. And these also include translation and also mediation exercises. Mediation exercises are an excellent type of exercise to use to help your students develop their communication and speaking skills as well. So all very useful material. And with the summative exercises, we can make sure that our students have learned everything correctly. And it's another opportunity, an all-important opportunity for them to recycle that language one more time. If we move to the workbook as well, we have a very, very rich revision section, as you can see. So in this case, we have revision for units 5 and 6, but also the cumulative revision, where we can see on the right-hand side of the page, we have the revision from right from the beginning, unit 1, right the way up to unit 6. So we're always going back, revising and recycling the language. Okay, this next page, this is essentially the 4th page of grammar. Here we have, I think, a very unique page which we call the Check Your Progress page. And this, again, offers a degree of personalization for our students. What we ask our students to do here is to complete the quiz, where we test them on the grammar and the vocabulary that they've learned in this particular unit. And then we ask them to self-correct or self-evaluate, another very, very important skill. And on the basis of their score, we can then send them to do more work. Okay, so if students have only scored between 0 and 25 points, they obviously need some more work. But the stronger students can perhaps do a little bit of expansion. So we send them to 2 different parts of the book. Okay, so the students who score 0 to 25 points can do some revision work, so the consolidation, whereas the students who score between 25 and 50 can do some expansion or extension work. So personalization is obviously not just about the weaker level students or the lower level students in the class, but also about thinking about the needs of our stronger students as well. So hopefully here there is something to cater for every student's needs, and again, keep them all on the same page. So after our grammar pages, we move on to the functions and oral competences, where we work on our speaking and listening skills. These pages contain another video. In this video, you will see the same characters from the storyline in a slightly different situation. The speaking activities are scaffolded, introduced step by step, and there are also, as you can see, social emotional learning activities connected to the video and the situation in the video, which is very interesting. We also have on this spread some speaking strategies. This is an example of a speaking strategy, but you will also find listening strategies and reading strategies for all the different skill types throughout the book. And you can also see an example of a listening activity, which can also be used for invalsi preparation. And these listening activities also feature, as you can see, different accents, which is something, again, which is suggested in the Indicazione Nazionale. So we introduce a lot of different accents, which students will hear, and not just in Invalsi tests or in other exams, but also in real life if they're speaking English in real life situations. On these pages, we'll also find different exam style questions. These are two examples. We've just seen an Invalsi style question. Here we have a Trinity style task and also a task for the Esame di Stato. You'll also find various activities for the key exam, not just on the functions pages, but throughout the book. So we've covered all of the main exam types here as well. So moving on, keeping on the theme of speaking, at the back of the book, you will find a functions bank where we have listed all of the functional language that is introduced in this particular volume. This can be very, very good for scaffolding or support in a speaking activity. And there are also extra speaking activities for each unit. Here you can see the example for Unit 6, which is talking about likes and dislikes. So a lot of speaking practice for our students as well. Going back to the unit, our next double page spread is culture and written competences. So we've dealt with speaking and listening, and now we move on to reading and writing. So as you can see, again, a very rich page. We can see more culture focused boxes. We can see a glossary with some of the key language. We can see Invalsi style activities as well. Moving on to the writing, the writing is approached step by step. And again, there is a focus on strategies that our students can employ when doing the writing task. So the students are guided through the writing process step by step. Now, each unit ends with a page based on orientation. Again, orientation, very, very important. And this also includes a degree of personalization. You can see that this activity focuses on the students' own interests, their own strengths, their own weaknesses. And the idea behind these pages in volumes 1 and 2 is to get students to find out more about themselves. When we move on to the third volume, we introduce orientation, which is connected more to the worlds of further education and also the world of employment as well. But in the first and second volumes, the orientation is more about the students finding out more about themselves. And we will see that after they've completed this quiz, we go back to Jake and Amy, who appear again they're back, and they offer their own answers to the quiz as well, talk about their own preferences, what they do in their own free time, and what they prefer doing as well. So again, relating back to the world of our students. After every 2 units, we will find 4 pages, an extension section, if you like. And here we can see the first page is based on culture, and not just culture in the traditional sense. We also focus, again, going back to the Indicazione Nazionale, on interculture as well. What do we mean by this? By interculture, we mean comparing different cultures. So in this example, we're asking students to compare the school system in Italy with the school system in England or the UK. So they're guided in this task as well. They're asked to think about the ages and the classes, the subjects, the different exams, etc. So this is a very, very important aspect, again, in the Indicazione Nazionale, thinking about different cultures and the connections and the contrasts between them. The next 2 pages in our extension section are based on citizenship. And here we introduce activities that cover more than one school subject, so interdisciplinary activities. So in this case, we're talking about STEM. And you can see the very small icons in the top right hand of the page. These are directly connected to the Agenda 2030 as well, the Sustainable Development Goals. There are a range of activities on this page, including critical thinking and digital competences as well. So we're not just working on language, we're working in English, obviously, on these different aspects as well. The extension section ends with an in-depth listening page. Again, some very important things to point out. Again, we have different accents, listening strategies you can see, and there are also dictation challenges as well, which you can see at the bottom of the page. So again, step-by-step listening, different levels of difficulty for different levels of students. Moving now to the back of the book, we can find all of the extra material in the resource banks. So for here you will find, we've already mentioned the word banks, but you'll also find a pronunciation bank, which works on the sounds or the phonemes that Italian speakers of English often have problems with. So we focus on very specific sounds. There's also a few pages dedicated to different festivals, which are always fun to study. And there's also some compiti di realtà, which you'll find in the back of the volume. And last but not least, at the end of every volume, you'll find this fantastic 6-page mini guide. This could be ideal for holiday homework. In volume 1, you'll find Welcome to London, so cool things to do in London. In volume 2, you will find a similar 6-page guide to Dublin. And in volume 3, we visit New York. So some very interesting extra material for your students to look at there. And this also includes some nice video and some games. Okay, so we've looked at volume 1 in depth. This year, with the Edizione IN for the Indicazione Nazionale, we will also be providing this 64-page booklet, Percorsi di Inglese, which deals with 4 key areas that are mentioned in the Indicazione Nazionale. So we have multicultural, global citizenship, interdisciplinary projects, and literature. Now, this volume can accompany your students during the 3 years of Scuola Media. And for every activity, as you can see, in the top right-hand corner, we have a level. This is a multicultural and interculture activity, which is designed for A1, A2 level. So this would be ideal for the first year of Scuola Media. You can see here that, again, we introduce a text, we introduce key language, critical thinking, digital competences, and there are lots of opportunities to compare and contrast. This is an example of a global citizenship page, again, with different critical thinking activities, quizzes. Of course, all of the audio, which I haven't mentioned, can be accessed through the QR code that you can see in the top right-hand corner of the screen. This is an example of an A2 level activity, so this could be useful in the second year. Moving on, let's have a look at an interdisciplinary project, and this is an even higher level, so this is A2 B1. We have a variety of projects in our booklet which deal with a variety of school subjects as well. So in this example, you can see that we're dealing with art, science, technology, mathematics, educazione civica, and of course, English as well. So this is a nice A2/B1 level activity. Moving on, we have an example of a literature activity, in this case, The Adventures of Tom Sawyer. This is designed for the first year, so an A1 level. But as we move through the years, we also have pages dedicated not only to Mark Twain, but also to Defoe, Dickens, and also Orwell. So we have a variety of material for our students to work with. Where possible, we also link this material to social emotional learning. And if your students enjoy reading, we also have included two readers. With volume 1, we have Peter Pan, and with volume 2, we have the Canterville Ghost. These are e-readers which students can access through the Hub Scholar platform. My colleague Carl will be speaking, obviously, in more depth about all of the digital resources in the next part of this webinar. I'd also like to say a few quick words about volume 3, because we have introduced some nice changes to this particular volume. You will see that in volume 3, there are only 4 units, because obviously if we have a lot of units, language units to deal with in year 3, we don't have a lot of time left to prepare for the Esame di Stato. So there are 4 units, 4 language units, and we also have a lot of extra material, which I will explain to you in a little bit more detail now. First of all, we have the grammar extension. So if we want to expand on the grammar, we look at 3 key areas which will help our students advance towards the B1 level. So we have the passive, we have direct and indirect speech, and also the second conditional. I forgot to mention as well, in all three levels contain grammar maps as well to provide an extra level of support for our students when they're dealing with grammar. We also have the various banks. As you can see, we have the culture banks, festivals, again, the word banks, pronunciation banks, all sorts of banks, extra grammar practice as well. So you'll have no shortage of material for your students to work with. There's also an Invalsi trainer as well, dealing with reading and listening activities at both A1 and A2 levels. And there is a very rich exam revision section as well. Okay, so you can see all of these different topics, vocabulary areas, and grammatical structures that are covered, and the oral presentation section as well. We've also included with volume 3 a brand new exam booklet. If you've used Dea Scuola books in the past, you may be familiar with our exams booklet. This is brand new this year. It has been completely revised, so you can find this with book 3. And finally, we provide for all teachers who adopt This Is Me these fantastic grammar cards, which are very inclusive and a lot of fun. These cards can be used for playing games, for helping students to learn grammatical concepts in a more kinesthetic way. We can attach the cards to the board, we can use them on the table, we can ask the students to hold the cards and move around to help them to learn the various grammar structures that are presented during the book. And finally, I'd just like to mention This Is Me for everyone. This is to ensure that no child is left behind. So for every volume of This Is Me, we provide this simplified volume, which is available from your agent on request. A key difference, as you can see, we have written a new approach. This is because this is not a simplified version of the student's book. It's actually a simplified version of the workbook. Because obviously when a student is in the class, they have the teacher to help them, to support them. When they're at home, this is where they need a little bit more support. So this is what we're hoping to provide in these 3 volumes. Okay, so I hope this part of the session has been helpful. I would now like to hand over to my colleague Carl, who will be explaining in depth all of the digital resources that you have available. Thank you and goodbye for now.
Good afternoon to you all. Thank you very much, Roy, for taking us through these fascinating new elements which we're finding in This Is Me, Indicazione Nazionale this year. Okay, as usual, I'm here to look at the digital side of the course. So we're going to begin by taking you to your home page. So when you have activated your book, or when your local representative has activated your book, you should find on your account homepage this particular layout for your volumes. Okay. Now, if you have only received a teacher's guide and your local representative has asked you to activate this for yourself, you will find a single code inside the cover. You can use that, and on activating the teacher's guide, you will find access also to all of the teacher materials. In the past, teachers have contacted me. They've activated the students volume, but on activating the students volume, teachers will not see the teacher material. Okay, so it's very important that you use the guide which you've received, or, as I said, alternatively ask your local agent to activate the materials for you. Now you'll see there's a little heart in the top right-hand corner of my card. This means that I've chosen This Is Me, Indicazione Nazionale as one of my favorites, one of my preferiti. If you do this, this will allow you to filter any materials. So this will come out first when you go into your account. This is obviously if you have many different courses or many different materials from the past, from some of our books like And You, 21 Global, etc. So you can place this in prime position simply by clicking on the Preferiti button, and therefore the page will open like this, offering you directly This Is Me, Indicazione Nazionale. So as you can see, we've got a card there. The 3 volumes of your course appear with obviously volume 1 at the front of the page. Don't worry, because when we click on this card, the following layout will appear. So you will find all the volumes to your course, one next to the other, and then you can access them from here. You'll see at the moment I've indicated that I want to go into volume 1. Volume 1 also then gives me a brief summary of the things which I will find within that particular course. You can see the percorsi di inglese, which we've added this year to This Is Me, Indicazione Nazionale, and also the narrativa, Peter Pan. This is one of our ebooks which we're giving you this year, a digital reader So students will also be able to access this, a Black Cat digital reader, and enjoy the story of Peter Pan. In the second year, they will also be able to read The Canterville Ghost, one of our favorite stories there. So, as you can see, below the volume, we've got Percorsi d'Inglese in Volume 1. And this is where we're going to access the ebook from. So we've gone into sito del libro, i miei libri, and Percorsi d'Inglese volume 1. So I'm going to click on volume 1, and this is how it appears. This is what you should see on opening your digital book. Very important thing to point out, the whole volume at the moment of This Is Me, Indicazione Nazionale, is ready for you to use. Okay, so all the materials that you require in the classroom are already available for you, so you can go and you can have a look at them. And we're talking about a host of videos. Okay, you've got the videos of the dialogue, you've got the videos which open the unit, you've got the videos of critical thinking, you've got the videos linked to culture, you've got the videos linked to educazione civica, some more than 200 videos there for you to enjoy. And the audios are already ready. The exercises are also ready for you. Okay. The things which I think we are still waiting for, there'll be one or two new things linked to the test materials, but as a rule, 99% of things are already for you in the book. Okay. One thing to point out, when you go back into the book, you will always be taken to this last page that you used before you left the book. This is also a time saver. Okay, so you don't need to go in and out, continually looking for the page you were on last time. Okay. Two things to point out there on the page. At the bottom right-hand corner, you will see a green plus and a green minus. Okay. I would encourage you to use these two buttons to enlarge the page and to reduce the size of the page. Please don't use the zoom. As I've written on the side there, a little note. You may lose the icons for the exercises for the video if you play around too much with the size of the page using the PC. So please use these buttons. In alternative, you have also a magnifying glass. Okay, you can choose the area. It works as a kind of capture. Okay, so you can choose the area of the page and enlarge it also in this way. Okay. You will see at the bottom there, you've also got access to the dictionary, and various ways of highlighting the page. Okay, you can add a note. Okay, and at the top, if you want to go into any particular page, you can actually put in the number of the page, or as I prefer, use the index button directly above the cover of the book. Okay, so clicking on the index, this will take us into the Indice Generale, and then from there I can scroll down and find the particular page that I want to access. And as I said before, the last page that you use will be the first page that you find when you go back in the future. Okay, moving on from here then, we're going to take a page at random. And you'll see this page is dotted with black icons. Okay, so we're going to have a quick look at some of these icons, what they mean, etc. And then we are going to look at this mysterious yellow cross. Yeah, the yellow cross, which I think perhaps 95% of teachers are not aware of its existence. Okay, so I really want to bring your attention to this particular cross because this will open another world of learning up to you and to your students. Okay, so before we get there though, we will look at the black icons. So we've got the video icon. The video icon in this case will give us a video of grammar. Okay, there is an icon which shows that we have a map. Yeah, there is an icon which shows a pencil, and the pencil is the icon that we click on if we want to do the exercise interactively. Okay, and this we will look at in a moment. We also have the audio track icon. Okay, and when we click on the audio track icon, this will open a kind of toolbar which will allow us also to speed up or to slow down many of the audios. As Roy mentioned before, the audios obviously gives you access to many different accents, but also these accents can be a little bit challenging on occasion, so we do give you the actual chance to slow these down. And all of these activities here can be shared directly with students, either into classrooms or into Teams, or by simply creating a link, which you can then share it also into the register at school or WhatsApp or via mail. Okay. As I said, then we've got this particular double page here. We will look at the QR code in a little while. That's a new thing for us as well. We've not been there with the QR code before. I will explain also how that works. Okay, so as I said, we will go back in a moment to the mysterious yellow icon. But first I want to show you one of the interactive exercises and the teacher options that you have once we've opened the exercise. So this is what you will see when you click on the pencil. The pencil will open the exercise up onto the page. This was also an exercise which contained a video. Now, so as you can see, what we've done here is we've been able to change the layout of the page. Okay, if you look on the side of the screen there, you will see there's the cog for the settings. Next to this, okay, a particular icon which shows that you can change the layout from horizontal to vertical. Okay, so this has actually allowed us to put the video track alongside the exercise so we can see everything together there. Okay. Now, this is the teacher visual. You can see below you have Vedi le soluzioni, soluzione step. Okay, this is something which is only available to the teacher. Okay, so you will be able then to click on either of those particular buttons to see the solutions. If you were to share this exercise with students, they will not see the solutions buttons. They will only see the conferma button. Okay, so when you share these particular exercises, it's not that you are giving the students the answers. Okay, they will not see these. Okay, you can also enlarge the font, so you can make the things bigger. You can also add an easy reading font and also change it into capital letters if you want. Okay, so this is the same as you'll see for the written exercises like this, but also for other exercises we have and other resources we have in the book. So here we are back on the Deaflix page. So this mysterious yellow X, what is it all about? Okay, we have Deaflix, 80 grammar and 25 vocabulary pathways. From my experience and also speaking to my colleague Roy, my colleague Mike, up and down Italy, unfortunately, teachers are not as aware of Deaflix as we would like. It really is a platform which can open a world of learning to both your students and also render your classes also more engaging, more fun, I dare say. I've had the opportunity to use Deaflix in various classrooms, and the student reaction to it has been fantastic. Basically, the theory behind Deaflix is that we give students a particular scenario. Okay, they will look at the scenario, they will be able to listen to a particular presentation. They will also be able to read the presentation if they need more help. And then we will ask them questions about the particular grammar point or the lexical area which is being discussed. At this point, we then ask them one or two questions, and they have to determine whether they've actually understood what the grammar rule is or not. Okay. If they should still have difficulty, then we have a video explanation from our tutor. And then afterwards, we will require them to complete a map. So it's a continual input and then testing whether they've actually understood, or rather than testing, I suppose, appraising whether they've actually understood the actual grammar rule. We then have our tutor who will ask them a few questions And obviously there, if they should still respond incorrectly, the tutor will correct them and tell them why the particular or their particular reply is wrong. Okay, so I really, really would encourage you to go away and to have a look at their flicks. And I say the most important thing to bring your awareness to the fact that by clicking on simply the icon of Diaflix, it will not take you to the Diaflix platform. Okay, you need to be clicking on the yellow X. Okay, so I'm specifically taking a lot of time to point this out in the hope that in the future more teachers will discover this jewel of a platform which we have. You can be taken there directly during the presentation to the link that's there on the side. When you click there, you will basically be taken to a layout where you find the grammar and the lexical, as well as also other subject areas, but the one for us is English. And again, when you receive at the end of the session your interactive PDFs, this will take you directly to Diaflix and allow you to have a look at it. But I'm fully convinced that once you have a taste of Diaflix, you won't look back. It's very, very satisfying. It's very engaging for students. And as I say, it opens a new world for you. Okay, so moving on. Okay. Once we've done through the grammar, we've gone through the vocabulary, we take the students to the functions and oral competences areas. Okay, so the videos here are all set in the UK with our genuine UK actors here, and you'll see various functions that you can have. The functions of on the toolbar there below, the CC. The subtitles you can activate or not. And then next to that, you also have the option of the text alongside the actual video. And you'll see there that Rosie, where Rosie is speaking, the subtitles are also highlighted in red alongside the text there. So this is a nice way for you to move backwards and forwards within the video. You can click on any particular comment or any particular line of the video, and the video will move to that particular point. You also have the option of intervening directly on the speakers, so we can silence them. Or we can take out the text completely. We can hide the text. Okay, so various options for you there. As you'll see again in the top right-hand corner, you'll see there's a little icon there, Condividi. Okay, and this brings me to my next slide, where I just wish to point out again that all of the exercises, all the videos, all the audio tracks are shareable. Okay, this means that by simply clicking on that icon, you can either share them directly into Google Classroom, into Teams, or you can create a link also to put onto the Registro Elettronico, or send by email, or even by WhatsApp. So these are for the single resources. What you cannot do is share the page or the pages of your book. This will only be possible if your students have activated their book and they have an account HubScholar. Okay. In other cases, if they don't have an account, you can share, as I say, the single resources with them. Okay. Moving on. We just had a look. I mentioned earlier about the QR code. The QR code is new in This Is Me, Indicazione Nazionale. Until last year, our books required you to use an application called Link. Now, Link would require you to take a picture of the page, and then it would offer you the various resources which were in the page. This year you have a double option, so you can either use your smartphone, and I know the students can't use it at school usually, but you can encourage them to use it at home if they don't have the PC. Okay. Many of these smartphones already have a QR reader, so the student can simply point the reader at the page, or point the telephone at the page and click on the QR code. They will also or automatically be given access to the audio, the video, and the link to Deaflix, the percorsi, the grammar pathways we saw before. Okay? And then they can choose which one they want to use. Okay? In alternative, what they can do now is download the application Hub Smart. This is a new application for our Dea Scuola books. You can download this, and then the thing that's slightly different here is that this will allow students to save anything that they've accessed directly onto the phone. Obviously, with the QR reader, it is more transient in the sense that they can watch it, then disappears. Here, if a student requires or is interested in keeping the material on the phone, they can do this by simply flagging it. As you'll see there, brand new app, free app for us, downloadable from the Apple Store and Play Store. Okay, you'll see that a short tutorial, and HubSmart in Tre Mosse should make things very simple for the students. But as I say, talking to teachers, there is space for this particular app, but obviously, as we know, it has to be used at home now rather than in the classroom. Okay, going forward. Probably the most important thing that we're going to do today is finding out where your teacher material is. Okay, this is one of the things which Roy, Mike, and myself often have to answer queries about, both from our representatives, from our agents, but also from teachers directly. One of the favorite questions seems to be, where are the audios for the tests? Okay, this comes up again and again, so I'm hoping that with this brief explanation, you will not have problems in finding your teacher materials in the future. It is very, very straightforward. 2 simple steps, and you will be taken into where all your teacher materials are. Okay, so if you remember at the beginning of my slides, I showed you where you have the volumes, and then below the Percorsi d'Inglese, volume 1, and further down below, we have the Hub Kit and the e-readers. Okay, the e-readers is where you will find Peter Pan. But where I want to go now is into the contenuti digitali integrativi. Okay, the ones here that will find the contenuti per il docente. Okay, so this is where you're going to find all your resources, your teacher material, the test material that you're going to use in the classes every day. Okay, so I'm going to take you forward from here. We're going to click on HubKit. And this will take you to this page with the orange header, Contenuti digitali per il docente and resourcing in evidenza. Contenuti digitali is simply the ebook, divided unit by unit, as you would expect it in the ebook reader. The header, which is more important for us, or most important, I would say, is per il docente. Okay, this is where you will find everything that you require for class management. So you have all your teacher resources. You have, for example, the programmazione. You have the test maker in Word. If you want to modify any of the tests, they are all available for you. And those key things, the test audio. You'll also find here test a crocette, quick test. You'll find Google Moduli of the quick tests, etc., etc. So all here in HubKit per il docente. Okay, very, very quick passaggio. And straight on to the resource in evidenza, where you will find again all of the materials from the ebook, but divided by type. So you will have audio, the videos, you will say, again, you'll find the dialogue, the video of the opening pages, critical thinking, educazione civica, the culture videos are all there together, divided by type. All of the activities and the links also again to Deaflix Grammar if you want to access it from here. Okay, so everything's there together for you. So the second way to get to all of this, which I prefer personally, once I'm actually in my ebook, that is any page of the ebook, I can go to the top of the page next to the index. I can simply click on HubKit. So I'm on my ebook, I'm using the ebook, I want to go and look for my resources. So next to the index, I see HubKit, I click on there and I'm directly into my materials for the teacher. Okay. Now, generally, as we're saying, the ebook is a fairly staple presence in the classroom today, and more teachers using the ebook, also due to the fact that the internet connections in the schools are stronger and stronger, so it allows for teachers to do this. On occasion, though, we still have situations where the internet can come and go. So as a solution, we're also offering you the chiavetta USB. Okay, so what is this and what does it contain? Basically, it's a USB key with all the materials of the course directly inside it. Okay? So you'll be able to use this offline. Okay? It requires no connection, excuse me, to the internet. So you simply plug it into your PC or into your digital board, and you can work with it directly from there. So you'll find the volumes of the course, you'll find the teacher material, you find the test material, and also the same division of per il docente, contenuti digitali as you have online. Obviously, if you do have a connection, it will also link to Dataflix, which is a platform which is actually online. But you say you require the connection for this. Okay, so this is basically the whole of your course on a single key. So this will be given out on adoption and on request to your local agent. Okay, so we're nearly there. As I say, last but not least, from September 2026, okay, two new things for all the teachers adopting This Is Me indicazione nazionale. The hub area docente, basically now the area docente will finally be also for English. You may have spoken also to other colleagues who have access to the area docente for other subjects. Basically, what we're going to put in here are loads and loads of games, loads of activities, loads of videos, loads of exercises, which you can basically go in and take as you want and when you want and share with the students. Okay? Alongside this, you will also have a tutor AI. Okay, and this will also be incorporated into your book. So you will be able also to ask your book, if you like, to prepare you a particular lesson, some suggestions for how to focus on a particular lexical area, etc. The beauty of this is that the tutor in this case will be acting only within the parameters of your book. So it's not going to go outside into internet, into the big world, and look for things. It's going to take resources directly from your own materials, which you already have in the classroom. It will also tell you where it's taken them from exactly with page references. If you want then to specify or ask it to prepare a particular lesson plan, this will also be one of the functions that it can perform. Obviously for now, as you can see at the top there, this is a work in progress, but I'm sure that as soon as we have something more to show, we will be offering you another webinar and opening the doors to the area docente and the tutor AI also for English. Okay, finally, some information about myself, about Roy and about Mike. You can find information about us at the following link. We support the local agents up and down Italy. We come into schools. Some of you may have met us already. We're more than happy to reply to any questions that you have about the materials. And it would be lovely to come and see you also at school at any time of the year when we're out and about. So if you wish to contact us directly, you can do so here. But you can also speak to your local agent, your local representative, and see if it's also possible to organize a quick visit to school to see you and your students. Okay, so if you'd like to contact us, the details are there. So I've come to the end of the session for today, and I'm just going to leave now you a few minutes if you have any questions at all about anything that Roy said earlier or anything that I've dealt with from a digital point of view. Please don't hesitate to ask in the spazio alle domande.
Benissimo, eccoci. Ciao Carl.
Hello. Yeah. Yeah. I think Alessia, I think we did a very, very exhaustive webinar. Okay, so maybe this is why there are not many questions. I think we did so much information today.
Sì, penso anch'io, poi vedo che ci ha dato anche una mano Siu, la nostra collega della redazione, a rispondere a un po' di domande arrivate in chat, per cui poi a molti avete anche risposto nel corso della trattazione, per cui io direi che siamo in chiusura. Io vi saluto e vi ringrazio, insomma, per tutto quello che ci avete raccontato.
Ok, grazie a voi e grazie a tutti i docenti presenti.
Grazie mille, alla prossima.
Grazie mille, Roy, grazie. Io invece rubo
Grazie.
ancora qualche minuto ai nostri docenti perché vediamo insieme cosa succede adesso e come chiude l'appuntamento di oggi. Vediamo insieme invece il calendario dei prossimi appuntamenti. Abbiamo ancora un ultimo appuntamento in programma per voi, il 15 aprile, From Detective to Giants, insieme a Samuel Williams. È un appuntamento dedicato alle letture graduate, quindi vi presenterà una serie di attività e di idee proprio per portare la lettura in classe, per cui io vi consiglio di iscrivervi, vi abbiamo lasciato proprio in questa slide, anche in questo caso un link cliccabile che vi rimanda direttamente alla pagina dedicata dove troverete sia tutti i registrati dei webinar andati in onda in passato, ma anche proprio la card dedicata a questo appuntamento per il quale ovviamente sono già aperte le iscrizioni. Io poi vi saluto con questa ultimissima slide. Anche in questo caso vi abbiamo lasciato due link utili. Se avete voglia di scoprire qualcosa di più sul corso di Sismi, vi invitiamo a consultare la scheda sul sito, che potete farlo tramite il primo link, oppure potete direttamente richiedere la vostra copia digitale per questa nuova edizione in. Io ho terminato, vi aspettiamo quindi ad aprile, vi saluto e buona serata a tutti e a tutte.